everybody, Backyard Bullion here. Is now a great time to look to sell your gold and release some of the potential profits that have been building up quite nicely over the last couple of months and years? That is the overarching question for this week's edition of Ponderous Wednesday. It's very important to remember that this video is meant just for entertainment purposes. I'm not a financial advisor and I'm not giving financial advice in this video, so any financial decisions you make are yours and yours alone. But today I aim to give a bit of an overview of my thoughts and opinions on why I'm holding on to my gold and I'm not selling it, despite the potential profit that is locked up in some of the coins, like the ones that we've got on the table here for you guys to salivate and gawk at as we go throughout today's video. I would love to know your thoughts and opinions on this subject. That's the reason I make these videos, so please feel free to comment with your opinions on whether now is a good time to look to sell gold, and if you are selling gold, what are you doing with the cash? Please be respectful of mine and other people's opinions. If you are going to comment, everybody's circumstances are different, and I'll see you down in the comment section. So I've got 5 very attractive looking gold coins here, but the most attractive thing about these gold coins are the prices I've paid for some of them. You know, we've got 2 ounces of gold here, got a Britannia and a Krugerrand, which I've paid 940 or 935 pounds for. You can see here I've purchased them from the Silver Forum, so private sources, back in August and November 2018. So we're about a year out from where we are buying these ones, and we've seen some humongous growth in gold prices over that period. For us here in the UK, we're at an all-time high of over £1,200 an ounce, which is absolutely ridiculous for 1 year's worth of growth. That works out at over 28% return on these coins if you were looking to sell them and release some of the profits. And don't get me wrong, £260+ potential profit on these gold coins is very enticing. But for me, I do not view right now as the correct time for us in the Backyard Bullion household to be looking to sell this gold and release those profits. So it comes down to everybody's personal circumstances, and guys, before you moan about me touching this gold coin with my hands, it's very much just a bullion grade coin. It's never going to be worth much more than spot, you know, perhaps a % or 2 over spot if I'm lucky. And you know, I'm quite happy in that sense to just hold it and touch it and feel it. And I would highly recommend anybody who's got some real just bullion grade nasty looking gold, enjoy your gold, feel it, see what it feels like, and you know, get used to it. It's really very, very fun indeed. So selling the gold right now is not what we had planned in our strategy. You know, Mrs. Backyard Bullion and I have much more of a long-term approach and view to our gold investments. They are part of our long-term hedge potential, potential against the deflation of currencies. That's the main thing. We want to look to lock up some of our buying power right now for the future, for our pension age ideally, but also for rainy day funds as well in 10, 20 years time, or even 30 years time. So for us, it just doesn't make sense to be selling that gold right now. We'd already allocated a certain amount of money that we wanted to put into gold over a certain period of time, and we did that. We've purchased a significant portion of gold into our stack, and we're quite happy with where things are right now. I am still looking to purchase more gold as we go throughout the year, so selling the gold right now is pretty pointless. I see, you know, what would I do with the cash there? It's going to come into the bank account and then I'm going to go back out of the bank account to buy more gold, so it just doesn't make sense right now. The only time that the only reason that I would look to sell gold right now is to exchange up into some other items. So for example, in fact, let's have a look at the Kangaroo first. So this was a little bit of an impulse buy all the way back in July 2017, as you can see here. And we purchased it from Atkinson's Bullion. This is, by the way, my rudimentary storage and record keeping system. I think it's a really quite cool way of having, you know, a quick look through your stack and you can see exactly what you've got and the prices that you've paid for them. So I purchased this back in 2017 and it was a little bit of an impulse buy. It was a bit of cheap gold at the time, but you know, it doesn't really fit in with the strategy of our stack. It's not capital gains tax exempt, so the only situation I might see myself selling this would be then to swap it for another piece of gold immediately. So in theory, the exchange would be neutral and you wouldn't necessarily be releasing any profits because you'd be selling at an inflated price and then buying at the inflated price. So, you know, that is something to factor in, that if you are looking to sell gold, do it for the right reasons. Do it for the reasons that fit within your strategy. That is the message that I'm trying to portray here. And for us in the Backyard Bullion household, that strategy is very much more long term. So that also plays into my thoughts on gold prices. I do think that we are going to see higher gold prices than we are right now over the coming weeks and months. That is, of course, just a bit of a speculative statement. I mean, I could be completely wrong and we could see a pullback. I also do think there will be a pullback at some point in the future, which is why I'm not rushing out and buying more gold right now. I think because I had the opportunity to buy more gold when gold was hovering around the £1,100 an ounce mark, and I did feel like it was going to go up even further. So theoretically, you could have bought something and sold it right now for £100 profit. But again, what would you do with that £100 profit? If that is part of your strategy, if you want to do that to buy more metals, then fine, great, good for you. But for me and for Mrs. Backyard Bullion, it's just not part of that long-term strategy, so we're not really bothered. You know, I've got my own business, the Backyard Bullion hand-poured silver, which is very much the short term. You know, you buy silver, you melt it, you sell it, you make some profit, and you move on. That is what we do for that. But, you know, gold is very much about the long-term investment and the long-term savings mechanism. Now, there are people out there who would argue and can argue quite strongly that now is a really good time to trade up your gold for silver. So taking all of your gold, releasing the profits that are locked up in there and using that to buy some silver, because the gold-silver ratio has increased quite considerably over the last couple of months. And that arguably is a really good idea. If you're going to play the ratio, there is definitely potential to trade up the gold right now, buy some silver, and then when the ratio drops back down, if it drops back down, you trade back up again and you get your gold back. So for me right now, looking to buy some more gold in the rest of the year, but not as much potentially as silver. And that plays into our favourite topic of all, which is about Brexit. Now, Brexit it's one of those things that I hate talking about, but I think we have to address it in this particular video because it does form a large part of why we are not selling our gold right now. So the value of the pound, that is the thing I want to talk about. That is the main reason why holding on to our gold right now is the most important thing for us. When you look at it in these figures that I've written down, it's really interesting. Over the last 1 year, exactly 1 year, when you look at the bullion by post charts, the percentage that gold has gone up in US dollars is 20.26%. Fantastic return. But even better than that is the percentage return that's gone up in the UK, which is 28.35%. That is very, very good. But it's also very bad at the same time because the differential there, the 8% difference, is just due to the value of the pound going down and down and down. In fact, right now, at the time of filming, the pound to euro exchange rate, which is always a really interesting one, is 1.085. That is awful. It used to be 1.3. So your money buys you an awful lot less at the moment if you're using it abroad. So holding pounds right now is a bad thing. So for us in the UK who get paid in pounds, who have pounds in the bank account, it's just a hard time. It's not a fun time right now to be a UK silver or gold stacker, or just generally in the UK, because our currency is just being devalued as Brexit goes. Now, with the way that things are positioned in the UK at the moment with regards to Brexit, we are looking likely that it will be a no-deal Brexit, a fall-off-the-cliff style Brexit. And there's warnings from the Bank of England and various other financial institutions that will, in the short term, have a very significant negative effect on the value of the pound, and it will go down even further. And I'm pretty convinced that that is going to happen, and we're going to see pound reducing down to almost to a 1-to-1 ratio with euros. So for us right now, locking up cash that we had when we purchased this gold at different times when the pound was higher, these represent for us that wealth that's been locked up. And I do think that selling it now, having some of that fiat currency in its form right now, will just devalue over the coming couple of months, and I just don't see the point. That is, I think, the main part of today's video. What would be the point of selling this gold? What would you use the cash for? Now, if you are of the volition where you are basically putting all of your cash into gold, all of your money into gold, you could look to then have a bit of a draw out kind of income from the gold right now. So you can look to pay your monthly bills in that gold profits. That's fine, you can do that. It's not the way that we work. We have a diverse kind of portfolio of investments and cash and obviously income that comes in every month, and you look to pay those bills, save some money both in terms of metals, stocks and shares, pension funds, whatever they might be. In fact, pension funds, guys, if you haven't researched in the UK looking into your pension funds, it's the most tax efficient way of saving for the future, and it's something you should definitely look at. That's not financial advice, that's just common sense advice. So please go and research that over metals, because it's really, really important. Now, the last part that I want to talk about here today is when you're selling your gold right now, there's a bit of well, it's not an inflated market, there's a bit of a competitive market out there. So selling gold right now is potentially a bit of a bad idea. Over the last couple of years of looking at the Silver Forum as a sort of sales marketplace, there's been a lot of gold sold. And you see, you know, when gold was hovering around the £1,000 an ounce mark and it was going up and down, that people would be able to sell gold fairly quickly for 3% over spot, and that would be fantastic. In fact, there were some pieces that would be 4 or 5% over spot, and still they would sell within a couple of days or even less on the Silver Forum. I've noticed now, though, that when gold comes up on the Silver Forum, if it's even spot price, it doesn't sell as quickly as you might think. So that says to me that there's a lot of people out there who are, like myself, perhaps keen to buy gold still, but not keen to buy gold at these prices because there will be a potential pullback in those gold prices. That might well happen, and it's an interesting thing to think about. But ultimately, if you're buying something for 30 years' time, if it's £1,200 an ounce now, that's just, you know, that's part of the game. You know, £1,200 an ounce now is locking up that £1,200 that you're buying now. So you're buying power right now. And if, you know, I'm going to put some positive spin on Brexit here. If in 20 years' time, the UK economy is booming because we've managed to leave the European Union and we've got trade agreements with different countries all around the world. We've got a flourishing trade deal with the US or wherever country it might be in the world, China, who knows, Japan even. We could then see some huge growth in the value of the pound. So, you know, that £1,200 that you're putting in now could well be worth even more into the future. So there's lots of potential that could go on, but it's all unknown. So having the gold, having the silver, having the metals is a hedge, it's a protection, it's a financial insurance policy for the future. So that's my thoughts on the gold right now. You know, it's tough to sell gold right now. If you are looking to sell it, you could not get, or you could not be getting the most potential value for it if you potentially waited. You know, if you waited 6 months and £1,200 an ounce becomes the new norm, that settles the market down. The demand starts to come back, and that means that you can have more people looking to compete over different coins that might come up for sale. So that's my views and opinions on the subject. I'm very much in the hold camp when it comes to gold. You know, there are obviously reasons that you could look to sell your gold right now, and I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions on it. So please do feel free to comment down below in the comment section with your thoughts and opinions on today's video. I think it's a really fascinating one, and I know lots of people will have different opinions, so it'd be great to see you down in the comment section. Otherwise, that is pretty much it for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please put a thumbs up on it and share it around on your social media. In fact, whilst I'm still here, let's put a couple of thumbs ups for the thumbnail. There we go, we can see a good thumbnail there for the gold prices. And if you want to see future videos from us, then please make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you've got a topic that you'd like to recommend for a thought-provoking Ponderous Wednesday video, please do feel free to suggest one either in the comments or by email. And lastly, have a fantastic week. I hope you all have a brilliant week. We've got some fantastic videos lined up for this weekend, including some incredibly on-fire coins. So make sure you stick around and catch those. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much for watching, and please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.